of pain? The root cause of
Anger.
There we go. Pain is suppressed anger. And suppressed anger is the symptom and end result expression of powerlessness, feeling out of control, resentment, and injustice. In most cases. In most cases. So when you hear someone talking about pain, your mind is already going as to what it could potentially be. Right? We can also have pain as a result of an injury. Now it depends where the injury is on the body. We can look at the psychosomatic points of that specific body part. Now people might ask, could it be a coincidence? Sure. But there's also a reason why that specific part in your body was weakened or came forward that took the impact of the injury, depending on how you fell, how we walk. How we walk is a good example, actually. I mean, that's an expression of our psychosomatic state. If you have low self-esteem, your shoulders are going to be hunched. So you're much more likely to have shoulder pain. That's just an example, right? So the tricky thing sometimes with an injury is that, say for example, what I explained on the first day, you can twist your ankle. You know, and I can look at, I had issues with the female teacher, left side, feeling out of control. So that part of my body already felt weakened and much more susceptible to being twisted rather than tripping and falling and hitting my head, right? So now the ankle heals, but I didn't deal with the emotional stress that I felt on that day that could have, contributed to the ankle being twisted and the pain that I felt. Now that heals, but the fascia or fascia, whichever way your country pronounces that, becomes overcompensated because of the emotional stress that could also still be held there. Because wherever there's an injury in the body, where there's a weakness, whatever suppressed anger we feel at that time moves to it, it gravitates to it, it's like a magnet. Okay, wherever we have a weakening, any suppressed anger that we feel will gravitate to that area. Very important. And then it flares up as pain. Okay, so now also, for example, let's say twisted my ankle, that healed, but there's a similar emotional, stressful issue. Say, for example, with what I had with the teacher as being a female and feeling controlled, feeling bossed around, didn't like it, feeling that I couldn't quite, do my own thing. I was a very stubborn kid, by the way, hence why I didn't deal very well with authority. I was always at the principal's office. And so I have another issue with, say, for example, a female friend or a female coworker that's trying to dominate and control, how my workflow goes, and my back starts to hurt, right? That was an emotional issue that I had that was unresolved, that now transferred to the next weakening point that was in my back. Now, it also could have been because the fascia over time was pulling this part of my back, causing a weakening. And the emotional issue that I had, feeling unsupported by female, co-workers or anything along those lines. Back is also about support. And I had a huge ego challenge with her. And the pain was in the middle of my back. Fear of humiliation. Perfect combination, and my back started to hurt. And I felt extremely angry towards her because she didn't have a care in the world. She was very career driven. As most people are, they don't care about other people, they walk over them, and she was a classic example. Bringing up all my authoritative issues again. And so that pain was transferred from there. So when I kept working on the back pain, it would go away, but it kept coming back. Go away, kept coming back. Because I didn't deal with the underlying issue that actually happened at my ankle. Okay, so pain can sometimes be a little bit funny. That's why I like to ask. I like to ask. So if we start with, for example, pain that's as a result of an injury, have you had any other severe injuries that resulted in pain that you can remember? I just like to ask and just check and just kind of and then just ask, okay, so how are you feeling now with the pain that you have? Is there some similarities to the time when the pain started the first time during an injury? They might say yes or no. If yes, fantastic. I would work on both points then. Even though the pain is in the past and it doesn't exist anymore, but I would look at the unresolved emotional psychosomatic stress. Very super important. Okay? Also, pain can also be a result of EBGBs. Even pain itself is a collective consciousness. So if you had an injury, right? If you had an injury and there's a weakening in your energetic field in your body, because of the injury, then EBGBs can be attracted to that. Just like addictions can have EBGBs. Remember, EBGBs, like I said, it's entities. When we talked about, you know, if enough people believe in something, or if enough people experience something, and they share the same values and belief, it can form an intelligent consciousness of its own that can be tapped into. Right? So it can be that as well. It can also be, as you know, anger, suppressed anger. Pain is normally an end result of suppressed anger. And it's so suppressed that that the person doesn't even know that they have anger issues. That's why it rolls over into pain. Pain's a call to action. The pain's like, listen, we need to shift this. Right? It can also be as a result of a soul copy, meaning a snapshot of someone else's pain that's held in your field. Someone in your life that you had contact with. And we heal pain in the midbrain. Rebalance. We still bring in the limbic system and the reptilian mind aspect into it, but remember, that's where we rebalance pain. And this is when we work with pain. Okay? Then we also have psychosomatic pain. This is really cool research that I've been doing that I'm starting to bring into the material, so listen up, guys. We haven't done that in the other courses. So when I say psychosomatic pain that has been so severe for, say, for example, from your mom and your dad, have you ever had, let me explain it like this. Have you ever experienced an emotion to such a point where you almost felt like there was a pain that started in your heart or in your stomach or in your back, like the pain was so severe? That pain trauma transfer. That's what I'm talking about. So for example, I had a client whose dad had severe abandonment issues. And let's set that aside. Pause. Now in her life, she was running, she was a very sporty person. She injured her knee really badly that needed massive operations. And the pain just wouldn't go away. It wouldn't go away. So now logically I'm thinking, okay, pain, right, suppressed anger, left side, feminine, knee, feeling suppressed by authoritative figures, feeling like you're feeling controlled in the way that you're trying to move into, and feeling the pressure of meeting expectations that exceeds what you feel is being perceived as your capacity. Now, what I found with her was actually her dad's emotional trauma of feeling isolated, his loneliness, because when she injured her knee, she wasn't able to connect with the sports team and connect with the communities anymore, because that's where she felt she belonged. That's where her identity was. That's where she could identify the most with people, because they all loved the same thing, so they had a lot in common. So she felt very accepted there. And when she couldn't go to these sports events anymore and to the community meetings, it was complete isolation. And with the physical pain that she felt, it actually triggered her dad's pain, emotional psychosomatic pain of feeling alone, because he felt the loneliness to such an extent where it created pain in his life. I don't know where the pain was because he passed away, he wasn't alive anymore. But the genetic predisposition programming was in her cellular memory, and it was expressed at the knee. Because there was a weakening, and it triggered the loneliness that she felt, and vice versa, meaning with the dad's loneliness. Really cool stuff. It's phenomenal. Really amazing. Because her knee healed from the operation, everything was fine, but the pain wouldn't go. And there was no reason for the pain to be there. And I thought, gosh, we worked on her stuff, we worked on her, everything that we could possibly think of, and then ended up with this unexpected answer. So that's why in MAT, just be open, be flexible, and allow the body just to show you what it needs to show. And we need to observe it without judgment, because it's our judgment that can cause us to miss the answer that's right in front of us. Okay? So that's what we have for pain. Pain.
Yes, the pain. I mean, obviously the pain, it can be muscular, muscle, but it can be in an organ as well.
Yes, of course. Pain is pain, yeah. Pain is pain. Yeah, it can be a headache, it can be organ pain. So if it's an organ pain, then I would look at what's the psychosomatics of the organ and everything, you know. So, yeah. Very good. I'm excited. So, who has pain?